Well, hello there, random person on the internet who hopefully likes clicking, because, well, this deck just takes a lot of clicking. That's not even a joke here. Just a bunch of clicking. Okay, first of all, even though I only play Historic these days, I was pretty paranoid about bannings, and, well, that's why I recorded with a non-Uro deck and an Uro deck, since, you know, Uro is still busted. But then I realized, well, I prefer the non-Uro deck anyway, so I probably make a separate video on the idea of the other deck, which was one-shotting people with the Ruin crap. And, well, today we are playing Omnath. Now hear me out, I know this card is completely busted, but it's also a blast to play, especially in today's deck, and that's, well, 5-color elementals, or Rainbow Reef, which made for a pretty cool thumbnail, not gonna lie. Okay, so the idea of this deck was, what happens if you just play all the crazy elementals that are legal in Historic in one deck, and well, you basically trigger a chain reaction that makes you draw your entire deck and put all lands in it onto the battlefield. Or usually I would say, yeah, just play a Thassa's Oracle and call it a day, but no, we are playing elementals here, so we need an elemental win condition, and well, that's Zendika's Royal to flop the board and then Omnath to shoot our opponent. No, the fair one. We also play the unfair one though. No, the deck is a bit tricky and it's kinda hard to explain, and I tried to in this article, which you should definitely check out, but for now, let's just go over each card real quick and then let's get into some games. So, we've got Leafkin Druid and Tangled Flower Hedron as mana creatures, and Lotus Cobra to produce mana while we are comboing off. 2 Explorers, which can be swapped out for Uros now that it's not banned, and Risen Reef as our main combo piece. We got Broken Omnath as an engine, not Broken Omnath as a win condition, Yasharn because I wanted to play it, it's 5-color elementals, maybe you host some random decks with it. Yarok to double up on triggers, Zendika's Royal to combo with Risen Reef, Ashaya to make every creature trigger landfall, and Ancient Green Warden to double up on landfall triggers. The combo goes as follows. If we have a Risen Reef and itself or another elemental enters the battlefield, we get a trigger that lets us put the top card of our library onto the battlefield if it's a land. If not, we put it in our hand. With Zendika's Royal, we then create another elemental that triggers Risen Reef again. To maximize our chances of chaining these triggers together, we need multiple Risen Reef triggers. Either by having multiple Risen Reef, or we have like a Panharmonicon effect. Well, Yarok just pretty much doubles all ETB triggers, but get this, if we have Ashaya and Ancient Green Warden, all our creatures are also lands, and all lands ETB triggers get doubled up, so we can just triple up all our triggers, which will snowball through our deck pretty quickly and pretty consistently. Now once we got the chain going, we end up with a board full of elementals and a bunch of mana from our Lotus Cobra. And well, then we just play an Omnath and shoot our opponent with its triggers. Now you might say, that seems like an awful lot of clicking, and well, you'll be right. Luckily, I have no respect for my spare time and edited the videos, so you don't see all that clicking and thinking that goes into this combo. Now there's a lot more to be said about this deck, so don't forget to check out my article, but for now, let's make sure you read all the cards and let's get into some games. Oh, and one more thing, you see that little like button down there? How about you give it a good smack, huh? Thank you if you did. And if not, please do. And if you don't, well, what am I gonna do, right? Let's get on with the video. Oh, that's a great opening hand to tell you that we play Ancient Ziggurat and Unclaimed Territory. Kinda forgot that in the deck tech. They allow us to easily play our 5-color elementals without worrying about their crazy mana costs. But that's also a great hand to win a game. Tangled Flower Hedron into Omnath seems pretty decent. We play an island and pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain and a Scorch Spitter. Ooh, we draw a Lotus Cobra. Now, that's pretty good if it survives, but pretty unlikely against mono-red, so let's see how it dies. Ooh, opponent plays Chandra's Piling and does not attack. Ooh, my man, Hundevater, which is kind of funny if you're German. No respect for the Lotus Cobra here, and well, we take it. Oh, we even draw a Risen Reef here, but let's just play the Omnath and shoot the Scorch Spitter. Opponent shoots the Omnath and doesn't attack again. I guess they just want to see us combo off. We draw a land, play a Risen Reef, Yarok on top, play a land. Next turn can be crazy if opponent keeps our creatures alive. Legion Warboss, not gonna do it, they attack, but if we draw a land... Oh, and that's a land. Play the land, get a mana, play the Yarok, double Risen Reef trigger, get a land, double Lotus Cobra trigger, get some mana, get another land, play a Shire, which will trigger as a land and an elemental, so a double Risen Reef, Leaf can do it, and Lotus Cobra, that's pretty sweet, get some mana, play the Lotus Cobra, triggering as a land, get 4 mana, and play a Leaf can do it, double trigger, get a land, get even more mana. And now we just play Ancient Green Warden, and now everything triples up, so let's find an Omnath, which will deal 21 damage at this point. So let's see if we can find it here. No. Play the Risen Reef, that should make sure we draw an Omnath. And since it's awful to edit, I'm just gonna fast forward to here, where we got the Omnath and a board full of elementals. So play the Omnath, and here comes the triggers. Now you have to make sure to put Omnath trigger way on top of the stack so you don't draw yourself out before you can shoot the damage. So good luck playing this deck on mobile, by the way. I don't know how they're gonna implement mobile, but I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be a disaster, but this deck will probably not be a mobile deck. So yeah, lot of clicking, bunch of fighting against Magic Arena's UI here, and good game to our opponent. Thanks for just letting me combo off here, and well, that's the deck. You saw it in action here, so now it's off to the next one. Oh, now that is a sweet hand, and we're on the play, so play the Triumph, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swiftwater Cliffs, okay. We draw a Leafkin Druid, shock in a Stomping Ground, and play the Lotus Cobra. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Fiery Prophecy on our Cobra, which is pretty whack, okay. Oh, but we draw another one. So play the second Cobra. We play a land, and one last sign of respect to the first Cobra, but we got another one. Opponent just plays a Stomping Ground and passes the turn. We draw a Ziggurat. We play it. Opponent plays an Opt. We get some mana. Play the Risen Reef. Yarok on top. Play Leafkin Druid. A Shire on top, and swing for 2. Opponent plays another Opt, and Fiery Prophecy on our Leafkin Druid? Okay. Well, I guess it's a good time to talk about the new emotes. Like, we got these new theme emotes in the new season, and well, they just seem incredibly useless to me. Why can't I just say sorry if I get a disconnect, or F to pay respect, or just give us game chat to have at least the illusion of the gathering? Anyway, with that being said...
Nice.
Okay, back to the game. We draw an Omnath, play it, shoot our opponent, trigger the Risen Reef, we get a land and produce a mountain to let him know we're going into the red zone, attack for 4, pass the turn. Well, and next turn we play Yarok and might just win from there, so let's see what they do. Oh, Seagate Storm. Well, we're just dead, right? Yep, there's the Neoform. They get a Dual Caster Mage, which will copy Neoform, repeat that process, then get all the Glasspool Mimics, repeat it, get a Tuk Tuk Rubblefort for haste, and then get a Combat Celebrant for another attack step. And then they're just gonna kill us. Well, our deck is pretty much helpless against combo decks, although in this case we could have had our one-off Yashan, which would have been pretty sweet because it hosts Neoform, but we didn't and we died, so off to the next one. Ugh, well, that hand is a mulligan. That one's a keep. We bottom the Leafkin Druid and opponent Swamp, and the Thoughtseize. There goes our Lotus Cobra. We draw a Shire, play Unclaimed Territory on Elementals, pass back. Opponent plays an island, plays a Stitcher Supplier, mills 3. Oh, mills a Creeping Chill, that's pretty sweet. We play a Forest and Tangled Florahedron. Opponent plays a land, attacks for 1, and plays a Silver Smote Ghoul. We play the Risen Reef, get a Cobra, play the Triumph, pass back. Opponent swings for 4, we take it, plays a land, and just passes back, okay. We draw Yarok, play a land, play Yarok, double Risen Reef trigger, get a Stomping Grounds, and another Yarok. And Yarok gets bounced by a Brazen Borrower, okay. Opponent Demonic Embrace on Stitcher Supplier, swings for 7, we have to take it, go down to 5. Ooh, we draw another Risen Reef, but we do have to play Yarok again for the lifelink, so play Yarok, double Risen Reef trigger, get a land, and a Zendikar Royal, pass the turn. Oh yep, opponent swings in, down to 1, and no Creeping Chill, so there might be a chance here. Well, we play Lotus Cobra, play a Shire, triggering as a land and an elemental, double Risen Reef trigger, get a land, double Lotus Cobra trigger, get some mana, Risen Reef gets a land, get Omnath mana with the Lotus Cobra, and play Omnath, here comes the triggers. Ooh, look at that, 1 life, and we could still win here. Opponent. Oh, okay, they just scoop it up. I mean, we probably would have won this game, but we were at 1 life. I mean, that's a little early scoop, I think, but okay, less editing for me, so GG. Okay, let's go. Oh, look at that hand. Lotus Cobra into Omnath. The standard classic over here. Also good in Historic, so let's see what we can do. Opponent starts with a Triome, we draw a Risen Reef, play a Triome as well. They shock in a Breeding Pool and ooh, Diligent Excavator, so it's Kethis combo. We gotta be quick here, so Lotus Cobra, pass the turn. Opponent plays a land, and there's the Kethis. Yep, mill 2 cards. Let's see if they got the Mox Ember. Yep, they got the Mox Ember, mill 2 other cards. And a Chromatic Sphere, so we might be dead next turn. Let's see what we can do. The answer to that is nothing, by the way, since we have no interaction for this, so, well, play Omnath, draw a card, and cross our fingers, pass the turn. Oh my, that's another Diligent Excavator, so every Historic spell mills 4 cards. Yeah, I'll just take the time while they combo off to address a thing about Historic. You see, Historic is a wild format, and just like our deck, there's so many decks that just win out of nowhere if you have no interaction, and you have to decide, do I play the interaction or do I play the combo decks, like I like to play. And well, if your opponent then combos off quicker than you just die. And well, yeah, that's what happens here. Like usually I explain the combos, but Kethis combo is so convoluted, just Google it. It constantly changes, there's so many ways to go about it, but in the end, we have no cards in our library and we are dead. And that is GG. Look at that starting hand. With 12 2-drops that produce mana, we just have amazing opening hands to play 4-drops on turn 3. That being said, this Lotus Cobra will probably not survive against Mono Red. Oh, yep, and it's dead. Okay. With a Fiery Prophecy though, that's a little unconventional. We play a Florahedron, which will allow us to next turn play 4-color Omnath into 3-color Omnath with the help of Fable Passage and Mask of Immolation. Okay, I guess it shoots down a Florahedron. Okay. Now we just play Fable Passage, get an island, and play the Omnath without anything else. Okay. Opponent places a Healy and Satyr's Cunning, so probably some kind of Luca Transmogrify deck. Oh, and you ready for some misplays? How about playing a land before playing the Omnath, and then using Omnath to shoot the wrong token which couldn't block anyway? Well, that's what's gonna happen. I'm sorry, it was pretty late when I recorded this match, and yeah, you see in the gameplay. Oh, that's the Luca. Well, they get a token. They exile it and get a Dracoseth. I thought there's gonna be a Crater Hoof here, but well, okay, good for them, I guess. We draw a land, play Yarok, play the land, double trigger on both Omnaths. Put some counters on some elementals, get some mana, get greedy, play the other Omnath just to draw 2 cards, even though it will probably get shot by a Dracoseth. So, welcome to the Brewer's Kitchen sketchy place hour, I guess, and I'm sorry. Opponent plays a Dwarven Mine, gets a token, plays Thrill of Possibility, Saheeli triggers, they get a token, draw 2 cards. Attack with Dracoseth, bye-bye Omnath, and 10 damage to us, which we can take actually. But we gotta draw hot here. They attach the mask, and we draw a Risen Reef. Perfect, but they're probably gonna shoot it with the mask. We get a double Risen Reef trigger, get a Yashan, and get a land. Let's see if they shoot it. Oh, we're not the only one misplaying here, huh? We play a land, distribute some counters, play Yashan, and get 2 Risen Reef, 2 Yashan triggers. Risen Reef draws a Risen Reef, Yashan gets a forest, Risen Reef gets a land, land triggers Omnath 2 times, get our teams out of Dracoseth range, except for Yashan, I guess. Yashan gets another forest, which is pretty dumb, because we have to discard them anyways, but as I said, it was late and there's misplays, so yeah, I just want to say that. Opponent swings with Dracoseth, shoots down Yashan, escapes Sator's Cunning, and passes the turn. We draw a Shire, play a Lotus Cobra, probably getting shut down by the mask, I guess. Play a Shire, let's see what they do. This time we can't even buff it up with Omnath, but the land trigger... Well, they didn't shoot it again. We get the Lotus Cobra trigger, so Risen Reef triggers gets 2 Explores, which would be Uros. All the triggers here. Let's see if we have the lands in the deck to fetch with this Fabled Passage. Get a land trigger again. And now they shoot the Cobra. We crack the Fabled Passage in response. Get even more mana, get some counters, and make some mana. Now we are on our way to comboing off here, but we have to make sure not to draw ourselves to death. Play a Lotus Cobra, get a bunch of mana, and draw a bunch of cards. Play Zendika's Royal, play the Risen Reef, and now we definitely have to decline the triggers. Otherwise we will mill ourselves to death here. So Risen Reef triggers. Yeah, I guess we're just looking to find an Omnath here, so yeah. Decline all the triggers. Yep. And for some reason, I did not decline this trigger because I thought, well, one more land shouldn't do any harm, but guess what? It did. It was exactly too much. So that's our last card here, and now we draw with Omnath's ability and die. Now, even though we misplayed the hell out of this game, not gonna lie, we could have won this if we just didn't accept that last trigger or didn't get lands with Yashan. And yeah, what did we learn today? We learned that this deck can combo out of nowhere and win the game if you don't kill yourself because you got too greedy. And we also learned that it doesn't have any interaction against other combo decks. And we learned that... Ooh, what's this? A BNR announcement? Did Uru get banned after all? Oh, come on! Well, I guess they just banned Omnath one day before uploading this video, so yeah. Check out my article with the list without Omnath as well. So yeah, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, check out my Twitter, and wow, this sucks!